My name is Romeo Orlandi. I'm the president of an Italy-based think tank called Osservatorio Asia, Asia Observatory. My speech today will focus on a specific aspect of democracy, which is the transformation that the concept itself has experienced due to the prevailing globalization that took place and shape over the last 20 or 30 years. The physiognomy that the globalization had is due mainly to its economic characteristics. That was the way that China was involved in the process of globalization after the fall of the Berlin Wall and the fall of the Soviet Empire. The prevailing philosophical theory at that time was that any obstacle to the free circulation of goods, factors of production, ideas, capitals, workforce was itself an obstacle to growth. So that was something that put together different countries and different experiences, like China, whose main target was to defeat backwardness and underdevelopment. And China was following this belief by many other emerging countries in Asia, in Africa, in Latin America. But at the same time, this concept of free circulation of factors of production was shared and maintained and kept by the industrialized economies willing to use China as a partner, use Asia also as a partner to reduce cost, to maximize the investment, to find new markets and to create new global value chains. The idea behind this deindustrialization process, the rationale behind of these offshoring activities was that the world was one, that every circulation of goods, every circulation of idea is valid to create more value and more prosperity. That was the idea of liberalism, or if you want, of liberalism, and that was strictly associated with the concept of democracy, or at least how democracy is perceived in Western circles, in Western countries, in Western universities or Western intellectuals. The idea, the prevailing idea, is that in order to grow, in order to prosper, you need democracy. So actually democracy is a postulate. It's something concurrent and concomitant, at the same time cause and result of the human progress. History in that case was written and meant by the winners, and the winners seem to be the capitalistic side. Washington was more free, let's put it this way, than Moscow. West Berlin was more free and more prosperous than East Berlin, and so on. Then came China, and then China showed us that you can create value, prosperity, richness, you can defeat the poverty, you can improve the living condition of hundreds of millions of people, not only in China, but also in Asia and other emerging countries, using different methods. So in this case, democracy is no longer a postulate, is no longer a necessity. It can be considered a choice, a tool, something that you might use in certain period of time, and you can not apply in any other period of time. This is extremely important because that concept introduced the possibilities of different ideas in different countries in different moments. What counts is the final results. And the final results is the prosperity of the people you rule upon. Now, is it sufficient to say one country is democratic and one country it is not? So everything all depends on what you consider as democracy. And after all, what you consider as human rights. We all know there are different concepts of human rights. The first human rights, according to many experiences in Asia, is the right to live, to prosper, to develop, while in other countries, in other territories, the human rights are different. The concept of those is different because in those countries the human basic rights have been already fulfilled. Now you have to eat, you can read, you can travel, you can choose your political affiliation and so on. So, is democracy necessary to grow, to develop? Not always, not in all circumstances, and sometimes it is a shortcut, sometimes it is compulsory to follow that path, some other times it is something you cannot achieve overnight. It took decades, even centuries, in Europe for the affirmation of the democracy, at least the way we intend it, at least the way we practice. Probably some other countries in different parts of the world, they will need to follow their own path in a different concept of democracy. Let me go back for my concluding remark to the concept of globalization. The shape that globalization took, it is mainly an economic one. Our world became so materialistic that that is a collection of goods to manufacture, to export, to buy, to enjoy. If the globalization could have taken a different shape, for example, globalization of democracy, globalization of rights, globalization of environmental protection, probably the discussion on the validity of the human values connected to democracy would have been quite different. Thank you.